Well, hello everyone. This is going to be a very short video just to kind of get us ready for next Monday night. I've already sent you the link for the Deepwater Horizon case. Just read the first 19 pages. I know that it's a long, kind of dry read, but this is going somewhere. You need to get a sense of the history of this company, make some notes maybe about the history, the different way that the company evolved, because we've got one very interesting and I think a pretty deep philosophical question here that will divide you into groups randomly, but everyone will have the same discussion question. Okay, let me just kind of go over what it says there. Based on your reading of the history of BP and this case, does it make sense to label BP as a non-human entity that also shares moral blame? That's a deceptively simple question with a very convoluted kind of way of thinking. In moral philosophy, the moral philosophy that we've studied, the three main moral theories, it's really about individuals. In other words, does it make sense to say that a non-human entity is a moral agent and subject to moral praise and blame? In the formulation of those theories, whether it be virtue ethics or Kant or utilitarianism, the writers focused on people and humans were the moral agent. In some of the recent literature that has come out, it's kind of trying to address what sometimes is being said, I guess, by just the general public. Let me give you an example. During the Rodney King incident, which some of you may or may not know, it was a videotaped beating of a black motorist that caused the second worst riot in the United States history back in the early 90s. And in the discussion of the LAPD, there was issues related to, LAPD as an organization is morally defective. Well, it was defective maybe in terms of their training and what the instruction that they got in the academy about how to handle a situation like that. You basically, as long as the person wasn't compliant, you could continue to use your baton and didn't engage the person in a more maybe common sense way to just grab them and put the cuffs on. You just kept using the baton, and that they were trained that way, and that was institutionalized. So there was kind of some dialogue about can a non-human entity be considered a moral agent, or at least have moral blame attached to the organization itself beyond its membership. That's probably really got you confused. I'll try to dial this in a little bit more when we meet in the live session. But think about this. Was the way of life, was the culture, was the organizational mentality of BNP making the company itself morally indecent? And again, some people want to shy away from that and will say, well, that doesn't make any sense. You take all the people away, there's nothing left. There's a fancy word called ontology. In other words, the company does not have independent existence beyond its members. But it's maybe not that simple. Does it make sense? And you've seen this in more than one case, not just BNP, but other organizations which, after long years where people transition in and out of the organization, the company itself, based on its bylaws, based on its operating procedures and manuals, seems to have moral defects that make it seem like the company itself has achieved a status of moral blameworthiness. Well, I'm going to let you ponder that question, make some notes. Be considering that as you go through the reading, and maybe it'll make the reading less painful, because you want to make notes that might indicate that there was a systemic, meaning a system-wide process that was transitioning that organization into a defective moral entity. Okay, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. I hope everyone is staying safe. The live chat will also focus next week on the midterm. I'll be going over that. And these two topics, both the Avon China, Fort Pinto, three topics, because we've had three. We've had the Fort Pinto, Avon China, and this Deepwater case. they will be outlined for you that you will be writing your midterm essay selecting one of these three topics. And I'll cover that in detail. All right, well, folks, have a good week, and I'm going to let this recording go, and I'll see you on Monday.